Alright, what's up everybody? So, if you clicked on the video, you obviously know what it's about. You want to figure out how to make this, but you don't want to know how to make the case unless you do. But this tutorial is about how to actually make, I'll get out of the frame so it can, oh, it doesn't even want to focus. It's how to make this. Oh, there we go, that's not bad. The web shooters and everything in general. So I figure the first thing we should get into is the actual mechanism and everything itself. And how you actually get the fluid into the little cartridges, and even what the cartridges are. So, bam, the cartridges, if you haven't guessed already, you don't already know, they're actually modified lighters, and they're really, really easy to make. Okay, so I've already taken the top off. There's this lighter, but it's just a normal lighter. When modifying these, what you're going to want to do, it's going to be a little metal protective thing, and just take that off with a pair of pliers, which I'm probably just using the wrong ones. Yep, so you just want to I can't even talk. Get that out. There's going to be a little piece of flint right there. You don't want to go flying. Take out the spring, and then you can just pry these apart and pull the lever out. And you're going to want to keep a hold of that lever. And then what you do, right here, you can just take this, and you just slowly unscrew it. And it's going to be a pain in the butt. I'm not even going to lie. It really will. And eventually, I've been screwing at this for like a minute now. Eventually, you'll get it to the point where you can just start to unscrew it with just your thumb. Oh, and don't worry, you will feel it start to leak that little bit of gas out. That's totally okay. So then what you do, as you can see, it is boiling at the bottom. And what you are basically wanting to do is get rid of that fuel restrictor right there. And the best and just most fun way to do this, and make sure that there's nobody in your way when you're doing this, but you just flip it upside down. And that is quite literally just going to send this launching. You're left with just an empty cartridge, no fuel restrictor. And what you're going to want to do, you just screw that back in. I'm sure you can just kind of twist it in at the beginning. And then you're going to want to just take this and just start to tighten it until it's completely tight and you really can't tighten it anymore. Now that I got all that down, you just take your lever, and there should be two little holes, and you just kind of pop that back into place, and then pop it back down. Oh, it kind of popped out. You want it to be just like that. So when you lift it up, it lifts off that little brass valve. And that is how you make just a modified lighter that you can use as a web cartridge. Alright. So everything you see right here is what you're going to need. You're just going to need your web fluid, some butane, and that's just to pressurize the actual cartridge, just a modified syringe, which I'll show you how I did that, and the modified lighter. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your modified lighter and your modified syringe, and when I say modified, what I had to do, I pretty much just stuck a pen tube in the end of the nozzle and taped that around just so it has a good actual pressure fit. And what that does, if it wants to focus again, what that does is makes it so with that little brass valve on the lighter, it's a good seal when you put it around it, because you don't want the web fluid leaking everywhere. If you don't have the time to do that, you can do the same thing you did when you just modified it. It's just, I did this for the longest time, but it just takes a while. But you can just unscrew that little cap right there, and then just take a normal syringe and just fill it up, and then have to rescrew that all the way back down, and it can be a pain, but that's why I just prefer this. This is what you're gonna do. You're gonna take your web fluid and just fill that up. What you're gonna do, you want to lift up on this lever. It seems like there's already some in there as well, and so that pretty much just opens up the valve, and then you take your web fluid and you just syringe that in. Alright, so as you can see, that's about half. I know the black tape right there is kind of there, but it's about half of the capacity of the cartridge. And what you're going to do, you want to take your butane. Now, if you are younger and you are using this, please be careful. This is highly flammable, and you do not want this to get everywhere. It's fine if it does, but just really be careful with it. It also can be really cold. But same thing. Oh, lift up on the lever. There might be a little bit of pressure still, just from the air. And then you press down on the butane like that. And then what you should be left with is a full cartridge. You can shake that around, do whatever you want. And that is just how you load the actual web cartridge. Alright, now that you've actually loaded the web cartridge, we can move everything out of the way. You can take your Webshooter, which is actually, I'll show you how I did this and everything like that. I'm not the only person who's done this. There's a lot more other people who have out there on the internet. I just preferred this method. So if you're doing this, really all you need, I could just have this just be the Webshooter and I just press on that lever and it would shoot, right? But what I prefer, obviously, and everybody else does, I'm assuming, is that you want a Webshooter that you can actually load the cartridge into. Mine is 3D printed, but all you're gonna need is just something to hold just the lighter cartridge and then a little lever mechanism somehow that can press on that button, okay? So for mine, what I do is I like to hold my hand there and then there'll be a nice little, ooh, a little bit sprayed out, that's okay. So immediately, as you can see, the lever's like primed and ready to go. So then we can shoot this, because when I pull this lever down, it's gonna push on that other lever, releasing the valve right there. Ooh. Right. And sometimes it clogs up. That's just kind of what happens with this fluid. However, my new version will be much, much, much better. But if this stuff does work, we can take some of it, set it on the back of this cap, I guess. We'll adjust the camera angle a bit as well so you guys can see. We can just stick it to stuff. And the nice thing about this is you might be thinking, well, Braden, you just sprayed it all over your camera, some stuff like that. Sorry, sliding off, that's great. That's probably because that's not really a good surface. The nice thing about this is that it dissolves after 2 hours, just like in the movies, so that's great. Yeah, so I already know this is the moment everybody's been waiting for, and it is what is actually inside this web fluid. I'm just going to keep it really simple. It's water and soap. That's all it is. And I know some of you out there have already tried this and you're like, what the hell, I've already used water and soap and it's nothing like yours. It's definitely because your mixture's wrong. What you're going to want to do when actually making the web fluid, oh, camera's moving. When you want to make the web fluid itself, say I was filling up this canister, you want about like half soap, okay, just for the whatever container you're using, you want about half soap and half water. And you're going to want to shake that up until it's just its own watery kind of liquid substance, but there's also quite a lot of soap in there. Which the only reason it's sticky, because soap isn't really sticky, the only reason it is because it's like a micro suction cup, because all those little bubbles in there cause it to just want to like suction it to it, right? It's really cool how it works. It's really simple. This is like anything anybody can do at home. My new version, everybody's been telling me, Braden, you got to make it so it's a string, and I've been working really, really hard. I'll definitely post the video to TikTok, and I'll show a whole like thing of me using it on YouTube. The new version of the web fluid, which is probably the only reason I'm releasing this old one, just because it was a funny meme for a while, is going to be awesome. It is probably going to be the closest thing to Spider-Man you've ever seen. It's going to be like my retractable web shooter, but with actual fluid. It's going to be awesome. I've also linked all of the, not my files, because I couldn't upload them for some reason, but I've linked a couple files to some other people on Thingiverse who've made these. They're really cool. Go check them out. Also, I have merch, finally. Please go check it out. If you want to help out the channel, the best way to do that is, first of all, you should be subscribed already, okay? But the best possible way to help out the channel and help these inventions and help fund my stuff is buying some merch. And if you have any questions, comment it below and I'd be happy to answer it, because I know this tutorial's a bit choppy. I'm not too good with tutorials. But yeah, let me know if you like the video, but peace out.